This week's episode of Wine Wars is sponsored by Wink. Visit trywink.com/Wine Wars for free shipping and $20 off of 4 bottles of custom selected wine. In this month's delivery of Wink, we got a 2015 Rosa Obscura from California. This was a Zinfandel blend with a mix of Cabernet Sauvignon and Petit Syrah. I thought this wine was very approachable, with a burst of pepper followed by the mellow flavors of stewed dark fruit. And after I'm done doing this blurb, I'm probably going to have another glass, because I really like it a lot. For more information on what Wink can do for your taste buds, listen to episode 55, where we discuss the experience of getting our first order. To try Wink for yourself, go to trywink.com/Wine Wars for free shipping and $20 off of your first shipment. That's trywink.com/Wine Wars.
This week's episode of Wine Wars is also sponsored by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/Wine Wars for a 30-day free trial and an audiobook of your choice for free. Here's the thing about Audible. They have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of books to choose from. Type in Star Wars and it shows up. Take a guess how many books show up when you type in Star Wars. No, the number we're looking for is 261. 261. And I found one in particular that's really piqued my interest, which is Shakespearean versions of the Star Wars movies. So here, take a listen to this. This is Shakespeare's Star Wars.
The Death Star plans we could not find herein, nor are they on the main computer, Lord. In short, they are not here, and there's an end.
Thou speakest well, my stormtrooper, and yet not well upon my ear the message falls. I turn to thee, thou rebel. I lift thy head above my own.
Now that's being downloaded to my phone right now, and I'm going to listen to that tomorrow. If you'd like to listen to Shakespearean versions of Star Wars, go to audibletrial.com/Wine Wars for a free audiobook of your choice and a 30-day free trial of Audible. Enjoy the show.
Previously on Wine Wars.
You totally look like your Bitmoji.
Nice scarf
and the sweater.
Jason, did you hear that?
Nice Bitmoji?
I look like my Bitmoji.
You sure do.
Now I'm sliding down a rainbow.
Wine Wars, the show with 4 friends who love 3 things: wine and Star Wars.
Welcome to Wine Wars. You're joining the 4 of us as we sniff, sip, and talk about Star Wars.
Dun, 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 dun.
We just got back, and so we are having wine, sure. But we're talking about Star Wars because we just saw the movie, and there's a lot to say. This is your excellent host and spectator. With me, as always, are Scott.
Yes, I'm holding for Anne.
You're looking very festive in your Star Wars sweater.
I'm holding for Anne Spectator.
Scott's
long blonde hair, kind of pasty. Okay, I'll hold.
Spoiler.
Yeah, major spoilers.
Scott's sporting an R2-D2 sweater in a primary blue covered in Christmas lights.
It's available on Amazon for $22.95.
Worth it.
Totally.
Jason,
Hi, guys.
where's your Star Wars
I
shirt?
had to take it off.
Why?
First off, it's a little too big.
It looks weird on you.
It looks funny and boxy. Second of all, I was melting anything that was over that shirt. So I just had to change.
Okay.
I'm schwitzing over here, you know?
It's weird that you put on a Star Trek shirt, though.
I know. That's how much I liked it.
Amy, who are you wearing this evening?
Well, I am also wearing a holiday-themed Star Wars sweater that says Star Wars directly on the front.
It's from Ann Taylor Loft.
Yeah. I don't think it is, actually. But it is quite cozy, but I like being warmer than I need to be. So
It's very festive. I am wearing my Darth Vader on a unicycle.
Is it a unicycle or just a it's a bike with a giant front wheel and a small back wheel?
Like
the
old
old-timey.
time radio.
Bicycle.
Bicycle.
Bicicleta.
That's what I'm wearing.
Yes.
So should we just like get it right out there and say, dude, spoilers?
Oh, yes.
Oh, spoilers.
Yeah. So if you don't want to hear spoilers,
Just don't listen to this episode, please.
Don't.
Stop, go, come back.
We're giving you time right now. So if you keep listening and you hear spoilers, I don't want to hear about it. That's not my fault.
Yeah. This is not the USA Today review.
That pops up in your feed.
Yeah.
Yeah, move along. If you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, move along.
So I just got to ask, now that we've got that out of the way, how did everybody do leading up to the big event tonight with spoilers on social media, etc.?
Good. In the grand scheme of things, good. But as you would scroll through, there'd be a new image from the movie. And you'd be like, fucking God. And just quick thumb.
Like, why
Just
would
quick
it be
thumb.
at the beginning of the
Front image?
First image in the trailer that's just popping up in your news feed.
I didn't see that.
I didn't
There's
see
one
any
like
of that.
in there that Rey gets the Kylo Ren's lightsaber. Like,
What?
Like, what are you doing to me?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you seem very upset about that.
I
Well, that was pivotal.
hate Facebook.
That was
now.
pretty pivotal.
Oh, now you hate Facebook.
That was it for me.
Oh, me too. I'm
Me and
done.
Facebook.
Like
broke
everything
up.
was fine, like Russian ads, not a problem.
No.
But Ray holding Kylo Ren's saber, like
that's-
deal breaker.
That's
It's kind of a big.
it's kind of anti-American,
Yeah.
spoiling a movie.
Hashtag 2017.
Nothing is more American than Hollywood and spoiling our American movies.
I know.
Am I right?
It seemed like
Probably
in a
was
trailer we just
Russians.
watched for what was that, Jurassic World. It was like, well, I guess I don't need to see that movie.
Yeah, what was with that trailer?
I don't know.
They
I'm not
were
going to see
all-
it anyway.
They were all horrible. Oh,
Yeah, I was a little nervous when I saw the trailers that came before the movie.
ditto.
Because they were so bad?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see a single one that made me feel compelled to pay money to go watch it. I was like, I guess I figured out that storyline.
Yep.
How do we do this? How do we do this right now? We have not. So we made a little pact. We have not talked about it with each other.
No.
In the car home.
No.
Nothing. I have no idea where anyone is, and who's gonna like pop this cherry? Not
I
it.
think you-
Not it. Not it.
not you?
Not
Okay.
it.
You want to just blast right through
Do we
it?
want to say
what that means.
our? You want to just give our reviews? Want to give A through F review of the
Oh,
movie?
sure. Go ahead.
I actually think I give it a C plus.
What?
B minus.
Oh, I was going to say B minus.
yeah.
It did not grab me like the other one did, like Force Awakens.
I really like the second half of it.
Yeah.
Anne?
I don't know. I want to be more open than I was with the Rogue movie.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it again, but I just was disappointed. And
Really?
I think I'm gonna say B minus.
I don't
Same.
know what you all watched
Well,
because I enjoyed that thoroughly.
I
You
guess
did?
Yes.
I guess when I went to the bathroom for like 98 seconds, I just must, and I came back and he goes, "You missed the best part of the movie."
When did you go to the bathroom?
Exactly.
Right when, okay, so we'll get to when you left.
Yeah, it's
but
fine.
I can guarantee
I would give it
you
an
that
A minus.
A minus.
I think that was prime, exactly what Hollywood should be with Hollywood blockbuster films.
Like what? Like try
The
to cram
cin-
5 billion.
Wait.
plot
That's
points
not what
into-
you're grading it on.
What do
Whether
you
it's a
mean?
good Hollywood film. Was it
No,
a good
I'm saying that's
Star Wars?
Yeah. Oh, yes, it was.
Okay.
The storyline was very good. The cinematography was phenomenal. Set pieces, acting was all around good. A few stilted areas of editing, but I thought it was very good. I don't know what you want from a movie, a Star Wars movie.
Yes, you do.
You want episode 4 and 5.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Mm-hmm. Or no, I'm sorry. That's not right.
4, 5, 6, 7.
4, 5, 6, and 7.
So you like 7 better than this? That is crazy.
I did. I'm on that
here's
boat.
what drove me bonkers about this movie was the entire like subplot with Finn's character was like,
Yeah, that was
this is taking up 40 minutes of this movie and it is completely irrelevant and they didn't do anything. Like it didn't drive this point for. And you know what drives me just absolutely bonkers about all Star Wars movies in general is when the main characters are just running around on CGI animals. And it's like, that is way too much of this movie.
Yeah. I felt like it was that marble game where there's like a bunch of marbles loose and you got to get them in the hole. That's what I felt like this movie was. It was really hard to follow.
Really good description.
And I only had one glass of wine before it. So it's not like, oh, I'm bombed and I'm trying to follow with this movie. It's like there is just way too much going on. And then the characters weren't really interacting with each other. Like Rey was doing her own thing. Finn was doing his own thing. Everybody was doing their own thing. And then again,
which could have worked, but there was some like janky editing and it felt really laborious. Like, we got to get through this scene. Now we got to get through this. I just felt like I was trying to get through it. And that's the part I'm wondering if that goes away if I see it a second time. Because now I know, and there was a lot of like, what happens? Where does it go? I was waiting for Princess Leia to die the entire movie.
Right. So, okay, let's go back to when Amy left. So the movie starts, essentially picks up right after Force Awakens. Because they're leaving the planet with the Rebel base. And
she's handing him the lightsaber.
Yep. Killer opening scene. I think this movie's funnier than any of the others.
Oh yeah, the comedy aspect was great.
But I almost like it was almost too much for me. Like,
yeah,
I was like,
weird.
Well, why are like none of the other movies have that tone? So like one or two of those things is fine, but it was like almost like over the top with like trying to be funny.
Like, it's been 10 minutes without a laugh. Let's have a laugh.
I don't know. I wasn't buying that as much as I know they wanted me to.
I'm really surprised. I did not think you'd feel that way.
Well, I think what it was is that like it was so uncharacteristic for the series that like when it happened more often than, you know, like Han Solo's jibes or whatever, or jabs or whatever, it was like, oh wait, this isn't quite, this is a little too much. Like
when
having too
Finn
much of a
fell out of the
spice.
table and was leaking water, which was like in the first 3 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah.
I was like, oh no.
Like a little too slapstick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was concerned, and that never really went away on the comedy front.
It's just kind of unnecessary. It didn't do much. Like, I have a feeling like it was kind of funny the first time I watched it, and I have a feeling like watching it again, it's not gonna be.
I don't
It's
think
not
it'll
gonna
hold
get
up.
funnier.
No.
I agree.
So
I like the
that was like
opening scene.
concerning me a lot the whole time. I was like, oh no.
Maybe
like,
they-
literally the first half of this movie. I don't know if I ever want to watch it again. That's how. But I want to. I gotta see it again because maybe I was just like kind of getting like a little cringy with it.
Well, maybe they put in all the laughs because
Well, it's a long movie.
it's a very long
need to-
movie.
yeah.
It's very hard to follow. So it's like, well, I'm totally lost with the plot, but that was funny. You know?
What's hard? I
didn't
don't
think
know why
that
the
plot
plot is
was
that hard.
I didn't really think the plot was difficult to follow.
Okay.
But it is very segmented and cut up.
It was very cut up.
yeah, well,
You're
maybe
here, you're here,
that's
you're
it.
here, you're here, you're here, you're here.
But it is where they left the characters, so you have to kind of
Bring them all back together for the final movie,
yeah.
Yeah.
which is what ultimately happened.
But there's another one, right?
Episode 9, yeah. That'll be out in 2 years.
I don't know what happens there.
All right, so let's figure out where this went wrong for all of you. So, opening scene, I really enjoyed. There's an attempted bomber run on the giant, what do they call that giant ship?
Dreadnoughts.
Dreadnought, thank you.
Which was a cool ship.
That was awesome.
That
Seeing
whole
inside
scene
the
was
bombers,
great. I was feeling very good in
absolutely
this
loved that.
moment, for sure.
I got choked up when the girl like took her own
Yep.
life to pass it. Like, oh, this is
Yeah.
killer start to the movie.
That whole beginning of that was really pretty well done.
Okay, we agree.
Okay, so
Sweet.
far, check.
Check. That's what I want in Star Wars.
Finn wakes up,
Falls out of the
falls
bed.
out of bed.
I thought it was kind of funny, but I like silly humor
And
sometimes.
But
the whole
keep
Poe
in-
part in the beginning was cool.
Yes, he's being Poe.
He's being all Poe-y.
Poe's relationship with BB-8 is my favorite thing about this movie.
It's like a boy and his dog.
It is. It is. That's what it is. I love it. And then when he's like, he like
He rubs him.
give a little
Give
rubbing.
him a
little
little snuggle
Oh
love.
my god! Poe and BB-8, you guys, forever.
They need a buddy comedy movie.
They do. Let's do a spin-off.
That's
there.
where you put all the little slapstick fun stuff.
Okay. So
Okay.
Then Finn wakes up. He says, "Where's Rey?" And we cut to Rey on the island.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was a good cut.
That's a good cut. Yep,
That was a
makes
good cut.
sense. So far,
Yep.
through line's good. It's recapping right where we left off. She's handing Luke the lightsaber, chucks it over his shoulder.
That was funny.
People laugh.
I liked that.
Okay, check.
Also seemed uncharacteristic, though.
But not when he explains it.
Sure. Well, I don't know. And I actually thought Luke Skywalker was better than I thought he was going to be in the whole movie. And his whole storyline was fairly unexpected, and I thought really well done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yes.
Well, and the whole reason
My whole problem with the whole movie is really that whole
Finn's
big
plot line.
It's like,
We'll
this
get
should probably be just fucking deleted. Like, oops, Control-Delete on this segment of the movie.
Well, let's work through this because I have a theory that that whole plot could be cut out and the whole overall plot doesn't change.
I agree.
So let's keep that in mind. as
P.S. Scott has no notes in front of him.
No, he's just that hardcore.
So yes, Rey's storyline with Luke, very cool. We are introduced to this whole island that he's been living on off the land. Has built a whole apparatus to spear fish with.
Milk in that thing.
Blue milk. It was blue milk.
Blue milk.
Oh, I missed
Was
that.
it blue?
It was
Yep.
the blue milk.
It was
That's
the
where
blue
we
milk.
get the blue milk.
Yep. He kind of did a wink.
Oh, I missed that because I was really turned off
And she
by the
freaked out
milking.
and like looks away.
Yeah.
I know, it was like an episode of The Office for a minute. It was weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Jason checked that one, and no check. Blue
I
milk.
feel like I didn't need to see alien nipples.
Yep.
I was just like, I'm a feminist, but I
Is
didn't
it a
want
little
to
much
see that.
to see the crack in the Indian's bottom?
Yeah, just wasn't expecting
Can
it.
you just feminist put your nipple away?
You know what surprised me about the thing that I thought for sure I was gonna hate about this movie? I actually really like the Porgs.
I liked
Yes.
the Porgs.
They did a really great job of making it endearing and understand what they are in the scenery. And then like that one clip that you see in the movie doesn't
Chewie, yeah.
you don't want to
Doesn't-
shoot yourself in the face.
Right. Yeah. So since they don't ever introduce them, the small little penguin-esque
Oh, like
creatures
kind of
are
a
called
puffin penguin.
They're
they're
puffins
kinda
for sure, and they live
seagull-y.
on cliffs like Alaskan
Porg.
puffins.
Porg. Porgs.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cute, but those big cartoony eyes. They're so cute.
So did anybody else get kind of a little hint, a little sprinkling of some animal rights themes?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Literally, when they're releasing all those racing creatures.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah, but also like
yeah. And him eating the porg.
yeah. So I had a misunderstanding during that scene.
Right.
I'm a vegetarian. I thought it was sort of cute. I mean, Chewie, obviously, he needs to eat something.
Gotta get his
I thought the
protein.
little porg was like jumping up and down, going.
She missed the porg being like cooked, and she's like, "Oh, just give the guy a little piece of food." And I'm like, "No, that's not what's happening."
They're like, he's hungry. Feed him.
And then she goes, "Oh, he's sad because it's oh."
It's his friend. Chewie cooked his friend.
Chewie's eating his
I
mom.
am
That was
extra
my mom.
pissed right now that the boys wouldn't let the girls sit next to each other.
Are you? Is that why
Yeah.
it's a check minus?
We were separated.
Jason made
I
that
think
happen.
you needed to be. You guys would have been all.
We would have had things to say.
We would have been all.
because we both graded it the same, and I think we would have been like, "Oh, this is bullshit," or "This is awesome." But
Yep.
like, you know,
Right. So the rebels are trying to escape the base. Which, when I saw the scrawl, I'm like, ugh, it's going to start with the rebels escaping a base again, just like Empire. I was a little pissed off of that. But so you left to go to the bathroom, and they're coming in to attack the big transporter ship, and Leia's on the deck, and Kylo runs flying his ship, and he has an opportunity to attack, but he hesitates. So that's what you missed. Then two
That was
other.
kind of important.
That is important.
oh, see, because like I waited for the fight scene because I'm like, it's just a bunch of ships blowing up. I'll go take a piss.
And then,
But wasn't Leia like stopping him a little bit?
no.
Don't you think
I think
she was in his
they
head?
were just like
They were
talking,
communicating,
for
force
sure.
communicating.
That's what I mean. She was in his head and he
Yeah.
was feeling some guilt.
Right.
He definitely felt
Yes.
guilt. Yes.
Like, oh, it's my mom.
So he hesitated, but then two other fighters attacked. The whole deck blew out, and she shot out into space.
Akbar!
Akbar's dead.
That
Yep.
was horrible.
Off-scene death from Admiral Akbar.
Yeah, they don't even show it. They
That
just,
was
They just
so-
reference it.
Check minus.
They should have showed that.
Like, but we
That
already
was-
built the costume.
And give me a moment on that. Like, they just blew right past it.
You
He's
didn't even get to
been
say.
with me since the 70s.
No.
83.
That's what I said.
So who else? Amy, you were not there, so obviously you can't answer this.
No,
so-
I walked up the stairway.
Oh, you were watching. Well, okay.
I was courteous because I knew it was an important. Some shit had happened because Leia was floating through space. So I was
Right.
like,
Oh my God, Leia floating through space.
So who else thought, oh, that's how they killed her off?
And I was like, wow, already?
Right
Yeah.
off the bat. That's
Yeah.
what I thought too.
I was waiting.
and they would have been better off.
Jeez.
That was their moment.
Wow. Anne
well,
did
it
not
would have
like
been a
this
good
movie.
death.
The floating? What's with the floating?
She was in
She's
space.
using the Force to return herself to the spaceship.
Yeah,
What do you
that's
mean?
far fetched.
It was weird.
That
it
did
was
not
not
seem
Star
plausible.
Warsy.
No.
All right.
Even in Star Wars, there's no oxygen in space.
But
Exactly.
the Force is creating a force
Well,
field around
they
her.
did play with that a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
New Force abilities that we have not seen, like teleconferencing.
Oh my God, I get
They got that from CNN
Head-on-head
election night
telecom.
coverage.
Holograms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little head in head.
But I thought that was I was expecting her to die there because of Carrie
Scott,
Fisher's
did
actual
you
death.
enjoy Leia floating in space?
It was yes, along with Bowie. And I was surprised by it.
What we do know is though, I mean, I think that was CGI Leia, and that was really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, her
Wait,
floating
how
in
much
space.
of it was her CGI?
I don't
Probably,
know,
but a good portion of it because
I mean-
they probably can't strap her up to a zero gravity thing and film it. So I'm sure a lot of that was CGI. But I was surprised by that, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool twist.
yeah,
Like not something
Right
we've
away.
seen- right away. Like, oh wow, so she's got something going on that we were
Well, because
not
I don't
aware
think
of.
that they've ever really done that in Star Wars.
No, we had not
people
seen that
floating in space.
and surviving.
Well, no, just a space death like that.
So
There was one of the best things about it is there was a lot of cool new action and cool new force abilities and cool. That stuff was
creatures.
really great to me.
it expanded upon
Yeah,
what there was.
yeah, and there should be some new. I was actually kind of hoping for in the training and the force. I was kind of hoping there would be some expansion of the knowledge, which they may have just showed instead of telling about.
Yeah, they showed you some books.
I was hoping there would be a little bit more training.
Yeah.
And they just burned her to the ground.
Yeah, well, book burning is like a hot thing.
Sure.
I make fire, right?
That's how you keep warm.
Are you still going? Because I'm having thoughts, but I think
No,
I'm
you go.
jumping
You go.
ahead.
You go.
Well, I liked the casino
That's what he hates.
at first.
Oh,
And then it was like when they first kind of swoop in and they kind of make their statements about how bougie it is. Good. And but then they kept on keeping on in there. It's like, let's move along from this. And then it literally just looked like a Bond movie for a while.
Yeah,
like
it
a
became some
it was
Ocean's
a
11.
Monaco
Yeah.
scene. But
Yeah.
when it first came in, I was like, oh, I think I'll like this kind of the new cantina thing. And then too much. They didn't take an editing eye to the scene.
Yeah, I like the introduction of the setting. I was like, all right, where's this going?
Yeah.
And like, I guess I get that they wanted to have Benicio del Toro. I thought Benicio del
He was
Toro's
great.
character was really cool.
Oh my God.
He was
I
great.
loved him.
and Benicio, check.
It was so weird.
I liked his
Tick.
tick.
Yeah, that was a good character tick.
That was awesome.
And it seemed like really hard to nail. Like that would be hard to do.
I think I'll like it better next time around. I was so confused by it for a while, and then I realized, oh,
He has a
he is
stutter.
presenting a tick. I couldn't understand what was going on, but I'll do better.
So the whole reason why they went to the casino was to find this
Yeah. So
code breaker.
the spaceship, the rebel ship, is unable to escape from the First Order. So yes, now there's this heist that has to occur, right?
Yeah.
They have to go, and the teleconferencing with Maz Kanata, that I did not like.
That was
no,
terrible.
That was stupid.
Like she's in the middle of a battle.
Over
Taking-
labor negotiations.
Taking a call.
So the teleconferencing with Maz Kanata, check minus.
yeah.
If you're gonna, I want Maz. I wanted Maz. I love her.
Yeah, but why did she have to be like in the middle of a firefight?
She wasn't even, again, she wasn't necessary to the plot. They just wanted to bring her back
Right.
to have a new toy or something, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't have a entire part of the movie, and they were like, well, maybe this, and we do this to do this to do this. Like
That's
it
not
just
about
felt-
being laborious.
It
Like,
just felt like, wow, these things do not connect.
So then they get to the casino because Maz Katana says, "Oh,
Sent them there to find a guy with a rose something on his shirt.
the code breaker." And the minute that I saw this character come on screen, I was like, "This isn't going anywhere. He's too greasy and slick. Something's gonna get fucked up, and he's not gonna come with him." And then, whoa, what do you know?
Well, they get arrested over a parking violation.
Right?
Yeah.
And enter Benicio del Toro, which he was great.
But
If he
again, to your plot, if he's a master code breaker, he's just hanging out in that jail
Yeah.
just
I'm
because.
He couldn't have let himself out 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
I'm
he was
just-
just having a nap.
Yeah. Well, maybe he drank too much and he had to sleep it off. And then he woke up and he was like, time to bust out of jail. Yeah. But it was not really,
Right.
you had to really lower your,
Expectations.
Yeah.
And radar.
right.
Yeah, I felt like all the casino scenes, especially when they're running through the city on the back of whatever those animals were called. I didn't catch a name if anyone else did.
The
No.
animals were cool, though.
Yeah.
they were cool.
Until you get
Felt very episode 2-y.
that
me.
was my point. My point exactly.
Oh, yeah.
On that whole part of that movie, it was like, so we're back to CGI.
That's when Anakin was racing on the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pod
Well,
Racers, that was
episode
episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 2, I just had like a slick, and I guess it's the rich city, so it should be slick.
Right.
Right.
I guess
But-
that's their justification for like allowing it to be like that.
Right. Yeah, that whole thing definitely could have used, and well, to the point. So he comes back with Benicio, and they do their thing, and they get captured. Literally makes no difference to the entire plot.
Are they saying that Benicio was a plant in that cell at the beginning?
Oh, maybe
no,
not.
No.
They're
He might
just
have got
saying he
captured.
just
When they got
happened-
captured, he overheard that they're trying to get the others to escape. So he sold that information to the First Order to
I
save his hide.
There were just a lot of really convenient coincidences going on. Is how I felt.
Yeah.
The first.
But let's take a step. So what about Rose as a new character?
Oh, I liked her.
I liked her sister better.
Yeah, her sister was
Who
awesome.
didn't have a single line
not
in
a
the
line
movie?
at all.
I guess she was fine. I could have done with less of her. What did you think?
I think she was fine. It's a nice. The nice thing with these are that they're introducing characters that are not force powerful, much like with Rogue One, and showing,
True
hey,
heroes.
normal normies
Yeah.
have massive impacts on life, just like a Skywalker does. And
Women of color, pro. Normies, making a difference, pro.
Muggles, right?
Muggles.
Muggles.
Totes.
But
I didn't like the way that they wrapped it up.
Yeah.
That just seemed kind of like,
Between
well,
her
it seems like we should just have them kiss.
oh my God, was that the world's worst on-screen kiss you ever saw ever? Oh my God, it was the
It
worst.
was
It
supposed
might
to
have
be.
been.
She did faint.
And then she died?
No, she
no, she's
passed
alive.
out.
She just passed out.
Yeah, but it just
She's
felt
all-
like
she's
it
all
was.
busted up.
Should have just flown right into the beam and like done something useful with their life.
Right. That kiss was shit.
Yeah. I would
That
have been
kiss
like,
was shit.
Yeah, it was supposed to be.
Well,
'Cause he's not
well,
into her.
successfully it was.
So it's weird because he's not into her. So this is kind of fun because they're setting up a love triangle where she's gonna love Finn and
Finn loves Rey.
loves Rey.
they
And,
need to
and Rey's
save-
a Jedi, so she can't love anybody.
oh God. They just need to not do love triangles in space opera. They need to save that for like, what's that movie with Katniss?
Oh,
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
which brings me to Laura Dern,
Oh, was she the purple hair lady?
Yeah.
who looked like she was in a Hunger Games movie. I'm just not a fan. I haven't been a fan since Twister. Twister, take my favorite topic.
Twister.
Yes, she is.
Did she play the tornado?
Yes, she is.
No, that's Helen Hunt.
Ladies and gentlemen, your excellent host and spectator.
I think
Laura Dern is in Jurassic Park.
Well, I didn't like her in that either.
I thought her skin looked amazing, though. I kept being like, damn.
She was fine in the role.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing I didn't like, I thought Poe was and you know how I feel. I like Poe, but I was like, oh, Poe, you need to settle down a little here. And he to me, he just seemed very disrespectful and kind of like, woman, get in line.
So here's why.
Like, I'm going to tell you what to do is the vibe that
Yeah.
I got. So it was kind
Yeah.
I like that she
But-
called him Flyboy.
but
of, but that was awesome.
the whole point of that whole thing was they're training the next generation of people to be leaders.
yeah, but you don't even realize that until the very last scene of the movie.
Yeah.
No, they kind of. There's moments of it where because
Did you get that? I
Leia's
didn't get
Leia's
that.
constantly telling
Teaching
him,
to be a leader.
Giving him
giving
coaching.
him yeah. Like right away, she gives him coaching, and then
She demotes him right off the bat.
right off the bat,
Yeah, you took down the giant.
didn't listen to me.
But you lost all of our main bomber ships, and we're now defenseless. So, good job, but you're demoted.
yeah.
So,
I mean, the whole movie is kind of setting up
right.
the rebellion to be.
Exactly. Yeah, that is the whole theme summed up at the end by Luke is, you know, you cannot just destroy it by killing, this group here.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's get to the back half of the movie that's actually good.
All right.
So like that whole exposition part was almost like they just needed to put the puzzle pieces to get like puzzle pieces in place so that they could have this back half of the movie that actually works. And I thought after about
When
really after
Rey lets her hair down.
right,
Oh,
I would say
yeah.
like right when the they're off that casino planet and they're on the next dreadnought ship. It's really pretty good from that moment forward.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean, we haven't even really talked too much about Luke and Rey on the island. I liked the story of him, like he was so distraught by not being able to tutor correctly that he said, "To hell with this, I'm out." Like, and he's paralleling Benicio del Toro's character of there's always going to be a war, profit off both sides. Like, don't pick a side, and then you'll get through it.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of a cool theme that is un-Star Wars characteristic.
Yeah.
Talking about the profiteering of, the space war and
Yeah, usually it's like pick the good side.
versus bad.
right, good versus bad, but nobody's lukewarm
Right.
on it.
Well,
Like,
and even the backstory of Kylo and Luke, Kylo thinking Luke was trying to kill him, there was a hesitation. Luke had a gray area if he wanted to go through it, but couldn't. And then Kylo wakes up and thinks he's being attacked, and then that spawns both of these movies. So it is all about the gray area of life that's where all of us exist in. Is it's not always so clear of
you're
well,
not
that's
good or bad.
right.
You make
You're
choices.
a human, right?
Right.
And-
Well, and like this person has their perception of what happened, and
Right.
somebody else has a totally different perception of
Exactly.
what happened.
Yep. And I thought that was actually a neat. They do that in movies all the time where you get both characters' perspectives and they're slightly different. But they did it 3 times through. They did once from Luke just giving Rey a little bit of information, then Kylo's, then Luke's again.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of a neat little
I like
unfolding.
that a lot. I
Yeah.
like that.
I like, and it's kind of a reference to in Return of the Jedi when Obi-Wan's like a lot of the truths you cling to is from a certain point of view, and it's so the dark side was strong in Kylo Ren. Luke had a choice to stop it right then and there, but Kylo then went for it. He got all dark, and what they could have done to really demonstrate, because could have been he was just trying to save his life and get out of there, but then he burns the Jedi temple and kills people, which they should have shown that, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's sort of unclear just how bad he is from that moment. Like, had he got up, like, done that, and then, like, had a massive slaughter and...
Right, because that would parallel then, what is that, episode 3, where Vader kills all the younglings.
Yep.
Training Jedi in that god-awful movie.
Yeah.
Seems like we need more wine.
But
Yes.
still, that was a powerful scene, and that was needed in this one.
And I liked that they show the green lightsaber.
Yes.
His
Do we
Jedi lightsaber.
Do we understand where Snoke...
Comes from?
I
They
always
never-
want to call him Snape.
They never give you the backstory of Snoke.
Not yet.
Not yet. And I don't think they will. I think they're just, like, done with that.
Could be. Yeah.
Isn't there a cartoon or a video game that tells me something about
Probably.
Snoke Snape?
There's probably, there's a comic book.
Yeah.
You have to go to a website on the deep web.
Sure.
I
Sure.
thought he was a pretty cool bad guy for the parts that he was in, though.
Yeah.
He was much better in this movie
way
than in the last one.
Yeah.
I was happy about that.
I think one of his first scenes when he was like in an all gold suit and standing up
Yeah.
walking around, the CGI was like, it's a little too shiny, but then I kind of went with it.
It's very
The
70s.
facial texture was great on the CGI there.
I got Anne that little robe.
gold robe?
for Christmas.
The gold one. Oh.
Sweet, babe. Thank you. Hot.
I love that room though. The red
Room
room
was cool, and that
was awesome.
Oh.
His guards were cool.
Killer, yeah.
Okay, so like when that scene opened and we see Snoke on his throne in that red room where it's like shiny floor, I was like, there's going to be a fight in here.
Oh yeah,
Why else would you have a shiny floor? Because they're not dancing.
Well, it looked to me like a Marilyn Monroe, Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend.
Oh my God, it totally did. Totally.
All I could see was a movie stage set.
Yeah.
It looked
Classic Hollywood, right?
classic Hollywood stage set.
Absolutely.
They just needed like a starlet in a white satin gown coming
Right.
down the stairs from Snoke's throne.
And some umbrellas spinning,
Right.
fountains.
Maybe some glitter is litter.
Yeah, I love that room. So that's why, like, when I talk about the cinematography and the set pieces, that was one of the best, especially when it catches fire during the fight scene.
We could remodel our basement again
I'm
and
not
make
saying
it like
I
that.
like it though, because it just felt fake to me. I didn't feel like I was on a starship. I didn't feel like I was far, far away. I felt like I was on a Hollywood stage.
It did feel like like every time I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's kind of like,
I'd like to go to Universal Studios and stand on that.
yeah, like
it
it
definitely.
felt
I thought it looked cool, but it definitely felt like I'm on a soundstage versus like how in Empire or in Return of the Jedi when they're on what looks like a starship, right? So it's like feels like you're
Very
in space.
yeah, like if
clunky-
he slides
clunkily
off
built.
the side too far, he's gonna go down 3
Right.
billion feet and then get shot out into space.
Also, there was too much of that same thing that with the Leia and the floating, with pulling Rey towards the Snape.
Snoke.
So Snoke was like
And then
totally,
away.
he was messing. He was
Floating her
like
forward.
torturing her by flying her through the air, and
He was trying to
suspending
draw
her.
out the location of Luke.
The floating in the back and the forth. It was new to this movie, so it was done. There were 4
The
different
levitation.
floaties. Yeah, 4 floaters.
What we didn't talk about was, and this is a pretty major spoiler, is Kylo, and for a moment Kylo
He turns.
turns.
Yep. That
Takes
was
out
a
the
really
master.
cool,
Yep.
really cool
That was
scene.
awesome.
And
I
this
thought
is
something-
spoiler land. Takes out the Snoke in a pretty cool way.
Absolutely.
That was awesome.
Very cool. And that was
What might be the coolest Star Wars death ever.
yes.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think, like this movie has the best use of force powers in ways that others haven't, of just manipulation of
Tools.
Tools.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Well, and there's that cute comment like, "Oh, it's more than just moving rocks,"
yes.
Yep.
which I loved.
Yep.
And then a callback later.
Exactly. I really liked the so on the island when Rey is getting her initial training from Luke, she's like finds that dark pit with like the moss growing over it. I thought that was an
That was a
awesome set piece.
Super the set piece and then the scene.
Yeah. Where she gets pulled in.
She
And
she
that-
voluntarily goes. So that was a cool part too, where like
She wasn't
She was using her
afraid.
her force powers right away. Luke was training her through like what does she sense, and this was super non-Star Warsy where you're in the force with her and like the things growing and the things dying and bringing new life, and then she kind of instantly finds the dark side on the island right away and just plunges in, and Luke's like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You shouldn't have gone there so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Which is
Anything
cool.
on
Which
the
is why
island,
he should be afraid a little bit.
Yeah.
minus alien nips
Minus alien nips.
was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when she dives into the cave,
Oh yeah.
from that point forward, in terms of film telling you by showing you, from there on out, her hair is down. It's no longer in ponies.
Really?
Yes.
Ah, I did not catch that.
Interesting.
Which means?
So she's changed. She's been baptized, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
She's
Baptized by the dark
She literally
side.
falls in the water.
comes out changed. She's a different person.
Yep.
She does the cool snapping delay thing,
Yep.
which awesome.
Also, by the way,
That was such a cool scene. with
I
the
have
hair.
never seen anything like that.
That was so precise.
Yeah, it was super
Very Matrix.
precise, and where the delays were so tight.
That
And-
must have
and-
taken like 2 weeks of editing.
Yeah.
One dude losing his mind. It's not lined up exactly right.
Or
It
maybe
was-
your friend Daniel
I mean,
did
it
it.
just could have been on the grid, man.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
That was awesome.
That was might have been, as I was watching, I was like, this is the coolest thing Star Wars has ever done.
I loved that scene. Just these infinity mirrors.
Yeah.
And check on that scene.
I was a total wet. I was just like, oh, this is just like Mr. Anderson.
It is very
From
much
Matrix.
Matrixy, but what was cool was you could tell by the way that they did it was her reality from like
Where she was in the
and they kind
cycle.
of did it from like 4 people in, so you could kind of see the thing, and then
Like
it zoomed all the way
around.
to the front, and like it was just her perception was all the way through the
Right.
timeline.
This is what I mean. I need to see it again because I was left with nothing after that. But you're
And
all
that's a
really
very,
into
like-
it,
and
and I
that's-
feel like it could be very cool.
It's kind of like a very transcendental thing of you're leaving your body. I'm not only here. Being
Yeah.
the Force, I'm everywhere.
To me, it
So
felt
she can travel.
very representational of like when you're having a very vivid dream.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like they captured that on film.
Mm-hmm.
Even though in my dreams, there's not like 500 of me in a row infinitely that I'm traveling along.
but you can feel it, like
Yeah.
it was a cool literal way to show like
Hmm.
being in many places at once.
I was really impressed with whoever came up with that whole sequence.
So the only thing that feels weird to me was it didn't seem like that should have been in the dark place. Like,
Well, what I felt like it was kind of an in between, like she was in limbo.
yeah,
Yeah. Because the parallel to that is obviously when Luke goes into the swamp and finds
Fights Vader.
and it's his own face.
yep.
She
So
goes there.
She goes,
finds
tells
her own face.
Yep.
Right.
She says,
So
"Show
what does
me
that
my
mean?
parents."
I still don't know what it means.
Your
Even
worst-
in Empire Strikes Back.
Your worst enemy
Is
is
yourself.
yourself.
Oh shit.
Your Bitmoji is your worst enemy, Anne.
But like when
It
she
performs
says,
very well.
she says, "Show me my parents, show me where I came from," and then the reflection is her. And then later on, well, we learn what Kylo Ren says he saw about her parents, which may or may not be true.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy it.
Right.
But either way, the point is, she was, whatever circumstance, she ended up growing up on this.
Desert.
Jakku?
Jakku, yeah.
Okay.
Nowhere.
Yeah, nowhere.
That was
So
a funny
she
bit.
like had to
That was
pull
funny.
herself up by her bootstraps and like she raised herself.
Exactly.
So she was her own parent. So when she says, "Show me my parents," and she sees her reflection, it's
Yep.
like, girl, you raised yourself.
Oh, nice.
It's very important when you listen to that. Picture a
Picture
finger.
a finger wagging.
Yeah,
a
and
finger
Amy's
wag.
head's just
Girl.
tilt. Girl.
You raised yourself.
She did. So
Yeah.
which is another reason why I love Rey's character so much.
In The Force Awakens, we saw her parents get taken away.
No, she is held back from her parents leaving the planet
By
by Unkar Plot,
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg.
Oh, so they could have been.
So
it could have been at this point. It could be true.
What Kylo says
What
could
Kylo
be
said.
true. Yes, it may or may not.
He looked so young in this movie.
Yeah,
he looked like
he's
a
not,
baby.
He doesn't seem like he's a.
I
looked
thought
like
he
was
looked
like
kind of haggard.
Kylo Ren?
He looks haggard, but he looks like young haggard. He looks like he's 24, and I think the guy's 30.
He's my age, yeah, like
He looked
34.
younger than in the last movie.
does
I
look
didn't
younger than-
understand that.
Probably because of the prosthetic makeup, maybe.
Maybe, and also he just sort of a lot of the times was kind of slouchy or downtrodden.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of small.
Well, he starts off the movie and he just gets chewed out by his boss.
Yeah.
right.
And he's like, I hate this job, but
This guy,
the market,
he
the
made
market,
me kill Han Solo.
the current market is just not lucrative.
Been in finance. Or...
Well,
Like
also,
they got a good dental plan.
one thing to keep in mind, though, the last movie, he wore the mask quite a bit.
Yeah.
And he only took it off for a few choice moments. And in this movie, it was off almost the entire time. So I think he had a lot more screen time for you to see his face. And he's probably like you, honey, where like,
He'll never age.
yeah.
Yep.
Like if you shaved your beard, you'd look 12.
Oh yeah, that's why I have this. What you might call a beard.
He is-
Most would not.
Kylo is so done with his Kylo Ren mask.
I thought that was actually a really cool. So Snoke chewing him out and saying, "You're just a child in a mask."
Yeah.
Like, and that's what he was.
Yeah.
Like he was
And
pretending.
I like that. We've all been saying that for 2 years, have we not?
Yeah. And that might be why, like, they even played it down his, like, looks to make him look younger than
Maybe so.
Yeah.
more
Could
of
be.
a Padawan.
And he's got bedhead the whole movie. Like, is there not a single hairdresser in the First Order?
No,
It's true.
No,
His long, luscious locks are subdued.
What I think is the best part about Kylo Ren's character is the Anakin Skywalker parallel, and the whole thing where we can rule the galaxy together. We can bring order to this place. We can use what we've got here, and like it's the constant theme of like it's not necessarily wrong. You're ruling through fear and order versus letting people be free and
Right. When they rise up against
Snoke.
Snoke,
Mm-hmm.
and together they take out all the Germanian guards,
Which was awesome.
whatever they are,
In the Red Room on fire.
right, from the Marilyn Monroe.
Rose set piece.
Right.
They just
Okay.
needed a fountain in the middle
And
of
like
it.
maybe
They
some
did,
guys in
and
tuxedos dancing.
Diamonds. She was under the impression that he was good in that
Sure.
moment, right? And
Right.
then when we all learned together, no, he's just more evil than you ever could have imagined.
Not necessarily more evil.
he seized opportunity.
Absolutely.
I think
Jason. That sounds like Jason.
Well, that's what he did.
I seize opportunity. That's a quote.
He
Jason.
saw his
chance.
his chance to kill. And the other thing is, there's a apprentice and a master, and so he thought that he could kill
That's how you become the masters. You have to kill your apprentice. or
and
kill
then
the-
make
kill your
her
master.
his apprentice.
Damn. And she's all, no.
Don't do this.
Kate thinks bye.
yeah.
Kay thinks pie. Kay thinks pie. That's her.
I love the thing where the yin and yang of it all too, where if the dark side is rising with Kylo Ren, somewhere in the universe,
Yeah.
The light
I
has to
like
rise.
that, yeah.
yeah,
Right. Well, Luke says.
and
the
of equal power.
right. The extreme light and the extreme dark.
Yeah.
And really cool, again, force battle, just pulling on Luke's lightsaber between the two of them.
Yeah,
And-
because they both feel claim to it, right?
Yes. Heritage for him and,
It called her.
called her. Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
Okay, did it shatter?
Yes. Broken
yeah,
half.
broken half.
Okay, so like that's done.
And she's all, I don't have the force powers to make one of these.
Weak sauce, bro.
I liked how they have never in a Star Wars movie showed a lightsaber's kyber crystal,
Kyber
crystal, which is the you can get different kyber crystals
For the
which
colors.
will do all your different colored lightsabers.
Oh, just like wands.
Yeah,
It's much like Patronus? I don't know Harry Potter very well.
You don't? Yeah, no. So
Patronus
it's not
comes out
like
of
that.
the wand.
But the wands.
But whatever.
The wands pick the wizards too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, yes. So Luke's saber breaks in half, which is a big tip for what happens later on. We'll get there.
What?
We'll get there.
Luke's saber breaks in half?
Yes, they're both pulling
sure,
on it.
yeah. I don't consider that Luke's anymore.
Well, it's broke.
Yeah.
Done broke.
Well, he threw it away.
Him and his
Yeah,
hand.
he did throw it off a cliff.
He done throw that down the
Puffin cliff.
So, any other plot? So this whole time. So the weird timing to this was the jumps between Luke and Rey on the island, and the 6 hours or so that they have fuel.
right.
Like, so that is what felt really weird, because it seemed like it was like 3 or 4 days
Right.
on the island, because there were several nights, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then the rebels running away, they're like, yeah, we have enough fuel for 6 days or 6
Maybe
hours.
they're going in like half light speed.
So that was what bugged me, other than the weird casino stuff, which I'll give you, that's not the best part of it. It's much like the Rathtar portion of this movie.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, I could do without that, but fine, whatever. Moving on.
No Conja Club.
I was sad. I wish there was a Conja Club.
Where's
I
Conja
wanted
Club?
that fucking Scottish guy to come back.
Right? Ditto.
You're a dead man.
Solo.
Tell that to Conja Club.
The we're low on gas
Yeah.
thing.
Because at what point? I mean, sure, in Spaceballs, they should have put more than $5 worth in. But in this movie, come on.
Well, I don't know.
They have never talked about fuel in Star
No,
Wars.
they've never
ever.
talked about fuel, and all of a sudden we have to worry about fuel. I didn't know how much fuel
Well,
it took to do light speed
Those
before.
giant ships are not fuel efficient.
No,
if they would
are
just
not.
get Tesla to
Turn
co-sponsor
down
them.
the seat warmers. That's a thing I learned.
There you go, babe.
So-
I'm sure that changes everything.
So that was
You don't
what,
want to auto start if you're not getting in the car within 30 seconds.
So that's what bugged me the most about the differing timelines, the different plots, was they didn't seem to line up to me. So that was really weird. So Finn and Rose go off. They get Benicio del Toro. They come back. I did enjoy Benicio in his role. He was good in his role.
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect in the character.
Yeah.
But to your point, Jason, that entire plot doesn't change the overall plot, because they come back, they try to go on the First Order ship, and they really make no difference other than Finn faces Phasma, which, again, kind of anticlimactic. I thought that fight was like,
Yeah,
it was
it
like a
was.
30-second fight.
Bye, Phasma.
Yep, and
That's
she-
I
it.
kind of felt like, well, he got knocked out kind of early on in the other movies, so now they're just gonna, he gets to have his little fight scene.
And I guess in
We'll
the
throw him a
grand,
bone.
in the
He
grand,
still wasn't great in it, though.
no,
No.
But
He
it
was
was fast.
Yeah.
And this has been weeks.
but it was right after. So yeah, the ship comes under attack. So their plot really made no difference.
No.
So yeah, I'm
I
with you
think
on
that
that.
was the Benicio. The whole thing was just eyebrow raised, start to finish. Like, what is going on with this?
It would have been different if it actually mattered. But
Right.
it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It didn't make any difference.
And maybe that's cool. We led you down an entire rabbit hole that really you thought it was going to pay off.
And
doesn't.
perhaps that's more realistic of war, is you go down this avenue and shit doesn't pan out, right?
Sure.
As opposed to storytelling, you're like, this always works out or changes the plot in a very significant way because we have only a certain amount of time.
I guess I can respect that from a storytelling perspective, but I don't from The Force Awakens was just fun to watch. Fun and easy.
Yes.
You just jump from one
Yeah.
entertaining bit to another.
Like, okay, so like, I think, can we all agree that George Lucas wants these movies to be accessible to children like around 8 to 10, right?
And today, Disney wants this movie to be accessible to.
Yeah, but
And I think they did that.
Disney also want to get them while they're young, right? So I don't feel like there was a whole lot of that happening in this movie, and that's why they had
Porgs!
that's why they had to resort to let's create some fuzzy little creatures. They're going to make
Yes.
the racing animals. They're going to make the glittery sparkle foxes and the porgs or whatever, and we'll sell those to the kids
Absolutely.
and put in like some funny jokes.
Absolutely.
And then we'll make it super choppy and complicated for all the uber nerds who need like, okay, story filler.
Yep.
And they just
Am I
didn't
an
really mesh
8-year-old?
well.
I liked the crystal critters.
Yeah, if I was 8,
Pro.
I'd be like, I want a toy crystal critter. Like that's what I would. And I
But
like
see,
when
the toy,
Finn leaked
the crystal
water.
critters actually move the plot forward.
Right.
Yeah,
'Cause they-
that's true. They do.
They actually had more of a point than that entire part of the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the only point of is Finn and Rose have time together for Rose to develop her feelings of, and that was kind of actually so. Cycling way back, kind of a funny bit where she's like, "You're Finn, the war hero," and he's like, leaning up against the wall.
Yeah.
He gets all puffed
Who,
up.
me?
He's like, yeah.
That was a good.
So-
bit. And then she tases the shit out
How
of
are
him.
we sure that Finn wants to do Rey?
That's probably safe bet.
Safe bet.
Well,
Now,
just
does-
They're at
based
least
on the
really
kiss
good friends.
with Rose.
You got a boyfriend?
Does
Boyfriend?
Rey want? And this is really horrible because Rey obviously is just focused on finding herself and saving the
She
world.
needs some me time.
But does she want to do anyone? I can't tell that she does want to do
think so.
anyone. I don't think she
Jedis
wants to
don't do that.
I don't think she wants to Kylo. I don't think she wants to Finn.
Well, so this whole movie did have a bigger connection between her and Kylo. That was like the main plot.
It was very
Like to the
prominent.
point where you're like, oh, maybe there was one point in the movie I'm like, is this one going to be where they get together and then the third in this trilogy is the two of them fighting?
That's what I thought it was.
And that was going to be awesome. Like, oh, total twist.
Yeah.
But nope, which was a good twist again. Them breaking off again.
She should do Poe. If I were Rey, I
Well-
would do Poe.
just tweet her.
I'm going to at
I
Rey.
thought that was a pretty. So the thing where the Jedis could interact with their psychic powers was really cool, which leads to the end of the movie, which
Yes.
is another force power that you don't ever see, where Luke Skywalker basically
projection.
astral
God, that was
projects
epic.
himself.
Cool.
So-
that was cool.
I loved that whole entire scene. The salt field
Yeah.
turning red.
It's and also cool because it's a callback to Empire, but
In a fashion. Yep.
and almost reverse, right? Because it's the end of the movie and it's the
Instead of
beginning
the
of Empire Strikes Back. It's
Yep.
the end of this movie.
Yep, same
And-
thing. They're in trenches
At
They're in trenches.
AT-ATs.
There's AT-ATs,
with cool like
But the
gorilla
salt-
arms
Yeah.
on these new ones. That
Yep.
was really cool.
but the salt mine thing,
Turning red.
where everything that's why they use the imagery so much in the poster and stuff.
It was amazing.
It was so cool how it's just like the
red.
colors. Like
Oh, that's
painting
right. The
this
red's
white
everywhere in
landscape,
there.
then
Anytime
it's
you touch the
painting
salt,
screen.
anytime you touch the salt, it turns red.
Very cool.
So here's
And that's what I'm with you on the cinematography of the thing was like
phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
the red theme throughout this movie was very well done.
gorgeous.
It's like a painting in itself.
Do you know the director Tarsim? He did The Cell with
Yeah.
Oh, I
kinda-
love
Jennifer
that
Lopez.
movie.
Yeah. Have you seen The Fall? You need to see The Fall. It was his follow-up movie to that. It was shot in like 30 countries over like 4 or 5 years, and the color scheme on that is phenomenal. That the red room from this, from The Last Jedi, and that scene, the salt scenes, reminded me of that film. So
Really?
you should see that. I was like, he should direct the next movie because it would look like the movie The Fall looks stunning. It's like pure art on film.
Wow. Let's watch
all the
that.
things I love.
I do
That is
too.
one of the things about this movie that I thought was next level was the kind of the
Filmmaking.
artistic swath
Yes.
that they kind
Yeah.
of brought to it. Was like
Yep. JJ did like some good stuff with like building the world and new camera angles and techniques that we didn't have. back in the
Making
70s.
entertainment
Right.
that what I wanted to watch.
Sure. But I felt this was a better film in that regard of filmmaking. So
From a technical aspect.
yes.
Sure.
So yeah, they're on this salt planet. They have 13 fighters to defend themselves, and they're lining up in the trenches. And one of the commanders walks out, and you see turns red. It looks like I thought he was bleeding. I think most people assume like is he bleeding out of his?
But that's why they had the character
Taste it and says
taste
salt.
the
Yep.
ground and say, "Oh, it's salt."
Which was really contrived, but yes.
But it's like
Contrived. They had to do it
Contrived.
some way.
How are you going to communicate that?
how many totally random characters have a line? Very few. So it really stood out that this complete total extra
It's random.
gets the camera pointed right at his face and gets to say, "It's salt."
But then he
was
spits
weird.
it out. And it's like, dude, if it's salt, just swallow.
Suck it.
I mean, I agree.
So Finn and Poe and Rose are trying to fight these things off. I personally wanted Finn to fly into the fucking
I did
thing.
too.
I did too.
Independence Day style.
I was
Yeah.
ready.
Yep.
And I was like, oh,
This is
that's
a bold choice.
Yeah.
But
do it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate that Rose stopped him.
Yeah.
I hate that too.
Amen.
I was
Like-
like, you stupid bitch. Oh my God. I was so mad.
Had so it was kind of cool because he was willing to die.
Yep.
For
Really, to not win that battle. It would have not won the battle.
no.
I guess, which is kind of her point. Is you have to,
Oh.
you live to fight another day, right?
Yeah. Well, my point is that Finn, up until that moment, wasn't on any side. He was ready to.
He was always ready to run.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that moment, he was like, "They will not win." And he became truly a rebel.
Yeah.
I think that was the moment.
Very cool.
That's cool.
So then, then Luke shows up out of nowhere, and
Which was the best. I almost think is the best thing that Star Wars has ever done.
It was awesome.
it was great to see him and Carrie together on film,
That was cool.
choked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember
And
when Jason?
I thought he looked great.
Oh, totally.
He totally looked
He looked
Luke Skywalker-y.
so good.
He killed that role.
Yeah.
Crushed it.
He was
Mark
he
Hamill,
was
you
better
crushed it.
than I was worried, and he was so much better than I was expecting. But did you notice that whole part? I was like, man, he looks different. He's got a different haircut, and he's like all shaved up, and he was like
Like
he
his
came
clothes are really clean.
he came to fight. Like wow,
Because
Like
he
he wore
wasn't
a-
really
he wasn't
there.
He wore
there.
a black robe and there wasn't a speck of lint on him. Like, how does that happen in the
here's-
middle of a battlefield?
So, and right before Kylo Ren and Luke face off, they're pairing up, and I keep saying Rey, Kylo Ren digs his feet in, you see the red, and Luke's walking around, there's no red.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't notice that.
And he brings out his lightsaber, which was just broken.
So
yeah,
I was wondering
he
why
had the lightsaber
He had the
that
blue
fight.
saber. Yep.
And
but
that's why-
it was a different lightsaber though. It's not his normal lightsaber.
It was the same one. It was his normal blue
It
lightsaber.
wasn't.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
It
it
was
was a
an
blue
illu-
blade
It was an illusion just like him.
Yeah.
for sure, but it looked the hilt of it looked different than.
we will have to watch again. My assumption is it's his saber.
Or, maybe the hilt has it changed ever?
No, not really.
All right. Okay. Well, that's why I had to ask for clarification when Rey and Kylo Ren were fighting for Luke's saber, because I was like, "Oh, I thought that smashed," but then he had it at the end, and it's because it was
he didn't really have it.
It was a visual representation.
Film nerd Scott was like, "That's not really Luke.
Oh,
He's floating." I was like, either he's floating on the salt, or that's not really Luke. And I'm like, oh, that's not Luke.
I just was like, well, I guess he's doing some Matrix shit if all these bullets are flying at him.
Yeah, I was like, man, he must have some mega force powers
Well-
now.
Well,
And he
I
ne-
was expecting like the Yoda scene where he like flips all over the
Oh,
place.
yeah, fuck that scene.
I know, I hate it too. That's why I was like, God, please don't
And
do this to us.
We'll have to watch it again, but I don't think Luke never actually attacks the saber. He just dodges.
Yeah, he
Kylo's.
dodges everything,
He
yeah.
never actually physically touches him.
yeah, he never does.
Sabers anything.
Yeah, and he doesn't even attempt to.
Right.
Like
He shuts it down.
There's never a down.
Right.
It's always blocking or always
Dodging.
dodging. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've gone quiet.
Well,
Laura Dern.
Laura Dern is the worst. The only spoiler I
That
got
was a cool scene. Laura Dern flying through the giant Snoke ship.
that was cool.
That
was
I agree.
awesome.
I was.
And,
I was like, I kind of didn't like you, lady, but then like
She
you
redeemed
went
herself.
and redeemed yourself. And
Yeah.
you're-
Okay.
you're all right.
Audible
Fair.
gasp by many in the audience.
yeah.
yeah,
And
that's
because,
true. That's
again,
true.
another thing that's never been done in Star
Absolutely.
Wars.
The physical nature of
Some
These ships.
going through things in light speed and then the special effect was no special effect, total silence.
It was
That was
so-
cool.
Like The Godfather
Awesome.
3,
Yeah.
when Sofia Coppola gets shot.
That was cool.
I like that moment of silence because I feel like when they do a sonic boom in the movies, like you're expecting like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, boom, and it didn't do this time, and I was like,
Yeah.
In space, no one can hear you boom.
it just had a deeper impact.
Absolutely. Visually stunning again.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry,
And it was
Ann,
cool
I cut
how
you off.
Well,
it went through a bunch of ships.
Yes.
Like you would have thought it would have like on impact would have blown up, but it just sliced shit in half. Super cool.
And you were saying about Laura
only
Dern?
spoiler I got today was that the last hour was awesome.
Okay.
So as we went through the last hour, apparently, I thought we had another hour. So I was just waiting to get through that to get to the last hour. That was going to be.
Oh, you thought there was a third hour?
I guess I lost track of time. And so
Was it only 2 hours?
It was like
2.5.
2:23.
I didn't realize.
It felt like it.
I just didn't realize we were in the climax. I didn't realize we were in the good part. I wasn't appreciating the now. And I may have been a little sleepy and I thought we weren't in the right part, and I just didn't. All the things you guys are saying sounds really cool.
I don't remember
But
it,
in
and
the-
I won't respond. to
In
it.
the moment, I just was not.
Did you accidentally go see Daddy's Home too?
I was there as present, but I just
Well, I think that's
I wasn't totally feeling it with that final battle at all. Whereas in the very opening battle, I was really into it. So
yeah. I think that's the downfall of
hype. Yeah.
and
maybe
expectations,
so.
right?
Yeah.
Because that's like you're always waiting for like, well, I saw this scene in the trailer and it hasn't happened yet. So when is that going to happen?
Yeah.
You know,
And
that
I
type of
really
stuff.
thought Carrie Fisher was going to kick it.
Right.
How are
I
they
was
gonna
expecting
off
that the
her?
entire movie?
And I felt no emotion about her. And I don't know what that's
Really?
about because as listeners will recall, last year,
we were pretty damn choked up.
pretty fucking choked up.
Mm-hmm.
She was good.
Yeah.
But
She
I
was
thought
better
better
in
in
this
this movie than, yep. I
Her
agree.
acting was like 1,000 times better in this movie than it was
Agreed.
last year. Good for
But
her.
I was like ready. I was ready for her to die. And then she literally floated back in. And I was
Right.
like, I don't
So
know.
yeah, I guess
how
you
to
needed her
handle
to.
that.
That was the only time we ever saw her use the Force. Ever.
Right. I was kind of like, well, originally episode 9 she was supposed to be a big focus of it. So that was going to be like a hint, like,
Oh,
oh,
really?
she's very Force strong.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Or the Force was like, nope, you need to survive. And the Force brought her in, whether she's under control of it or not.
Well, maybe that leads to her demise in number 9.
It could have,
I
right?
don't
But
know.
now, who knows what they're going to do?
Hopefully they have a couple of things shot.
I don't think so. Because they had to rewrite the script.
Yeah.
So
Well, they hopefully have extra footage or something. I don't know.
opening scene. Over a grave. I don't know.
It's
Who knows?
almost like they could have used that in the next movie to get
The
out
floating.
of this. Yeah. Which seems like a miss.
Yes, other than you need her to be
Pass the torch.
incapacitated to have Laura Dern take over, to have Poe get pissed off, to send Finn to the casino for no reason.
God,
Otherwise, they're all just hanging out
why
on
couldn't we have done better?
the... They could have just been... It would have been... Maybe, Anne, let me
What?
pitch you this movie. So they're...
Okay.
Same opening scene, bomber run, great. You love it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they jump through hyperspace. They're being tracked.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. What do we do? I don't know. Let's just hang out and play Pinochle.
Okay.
At the casino.
No.
No, we got
Just on the ship.
Akbar's in.
Akbar's dead. He died in the attack.
If we're playing Pinochle, I want Akbar and I want Poe.
Okay. All right. So after recapping the whole film, any other comments?
Oh, I love the very, very end when the little boy, did you see he used the Force to grab the broom?
And I was like, oh, the next generation
He
got
used the Force to grab
What?
Yes.
He just picked it up.
Nope.
Nope.
He held out his hand and the broom came to him.
Oh, I didn't catch that at all.
Super subtle.
I did not.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't catch that at all.
Nope.
Super subtle.
And you didn't sit us ladies together, and we both saw the same thing.
Yep.
So, obs, it happened.
Destroy the patriarchy.
That was my favorite part.
Your favorite part is cleaning?
No, that he held out his hand and the broom subtly came to him and then he started sweeping.
Right.
It was like, oh,
That
that
was a
kid's
dark-
got the force is fucking strong with that kid.
Yeah.
The lighting was dark there, so I guess I didn't catch it.
Again,
Well, it happened.
I believe you.
so there's that whole hatred of that part, but
What part?
The casino.
the casino part.
Casino
Those
brings in
were
that kid.
That's where the kid's introduced, is in the casino part where they
Right,
he
with
lets them things out.
And they're telling in that other language, Luke Skywalker, Jedi.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
So you can't do that end, which was
Without-
pretty good, with because it's they talk about this is just it's the beginning of this is just the beginning
of the war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which is smart on Disney's behalf. Oh, this is just the beginning of this war.
Because we just gave Ryan
There's gonna
Johnson
be Star Wars for years.
Stacks on stacks of Star Wars.
But
Star Wars
but
as
it's
far
a cool
as the
way
eye can see.
to say like, oh, there's a rebellion
Yep.
forever.
Luke passes, and this kid now has force abilities to clean.
I like when a man sweeps.
You guys, I've been listening to Gilmore Guys.
Mm-hmm.
Another favorite podcast that to do to recap Gilmore Girls.
Have you tweeted them?
I really should. But when they talk about every episode, I get so worked up because I have a different opinion and that's not how it is. And I just want so badly to weigh in. And I imagine that people feel the same way about our podcast. And I just feel like, well, weigh in, just like
Tweet
email
at
us or
Ann
tell
directly.
us. Yeah. I know that you're sitting in your car like, just
Fuck the porn.
Why didn't you just love all of it?
tell us. I know
And-
you feel that way. I do.
There's a possibility I'll see it again and just like totally love it and find
Same.
some of that shit redeeming.
So, okay, rounding up. So Rey moves rocks to save the leftovers of the Resistance, and they fly off. And actually, kind of neat seeing Poe and Rey, everyone together.
In the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
Poe
Cool.
and Ray meet for the first time.
which I didn't realize they didn't
Which
meet.
I was like, just pork already.
Exact. I think that's what the entire audience said. Just pork already. I think he's gonna pork her, Dad. He's not gonna pork her, Russ.
It was really
Just
cute
pork her.
when they were like, "Oh, the Millennium Falcon! Everybody hates this ship."
Oh yeah,
That was really funny. That was funny. That was like one of like the 5 jokes out of the 20 that like should have
Landed.
Like yeah. Anyway,
so now do we want to regrade after all sharing insights?
I'm still
Sure.
B- on the movie.
Okay,
ditto.
Ditto.
I'll go B+ to
Okay.
A-.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
So that's-
what brought it down?
the casino bit, but now you need it for that kid at the end.
I mean,
Yeah, but did you need like 15 minutes of casino and animals running and
No, I mean it's
It's not just
it's
casino
screen time
bit, though,
and
right?
story. Like
It
what
was really the only time that they were down on a planet.
what are you trying to
interacting
convey
with,
with the
culture.
story at that point? And the point of that whole entire plot line is the gray area of war. And when you look at like World War II and
somebody's profiting.
somebody's profiting off of
the
selling weapons.
Rockefellers.
Yeah,
to
but they
both
should have
sides.
picked like 2 or 3 themes and stuck with it. And instead, I feel like they had like 10.
When you watch, we watched The Force Awakens while we wrapped presents. Entertaining, every minute entertaining. I love that movie.
And it's
This is not that. I am
Star
not
Wars
watching
cynic,
this movie
and I
while I
think that
wrap
movie's
presents.
really great.
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
Yeah.
It might be my favorite.
It's fun. It feels like an Indiana Jones movie where it's just fun from start to finish.
Yes.
So I will say with one thing we didn't touch on is so when Rey's talking to Luke all about you're Luke Skywalker, and how a movie like this can be so impactful to our culture. I think it only works because there was a 30-year gap between the movies.
Yeah.
You know, if this came out 2 years after or 4 years after Jedi, so this came out in 91 or 80, whatever. I don't think it would have the same gravity and weight of that delay of gratification. 'Cause it's real. Right.
Like Luke Skywalker is actually a legend.
Right.
Like that
in
actually,
our culture.
Yeah, it actually feels like, oh yeah, everybody knows
right.
who Luke Skywalker is.
And they're reflecting that in their world.
Yeah.
Of the lore of this guy who is flawed just like everyone else. And we didn't fucking talk about Yoda showing up and you're like, oh, Luke, you idiot.
Oh, that was kind of cute.
You're still so young.
Still making the same mistakes.
When I chose to pee, but it was cute.
Yeah. Well, but
it was funny. Like right away, I was like, man, that does not look good. And then when it was
puppety.
Yeah, then it must have changed to being like real puppetry.
Yeah.
It looked perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel
I
like,
missed that.
oh, this is CGI Yoda. Barf. Oh, it's puppet Yoda. Yay.
Right.
So we were like, why didn't you just do that? Because it looks so...
I totally had
it's
that
possible it
moment
was
too, though.
all CGI, but right away for the first bit of dialogue, which Frank Oz he sounded great. It sounded just like Yoda. But then when it was whatever camera shift happened, it was like, oh, that looks
I agree with that.
absolutely correct.
They took away like the blue glow and it looked better.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a cool scene to have Yoda come back and tell Luke, you're still fucking up. You're making the same mistakes. You're expecting perfection from the world and yourself.
Yeah.
And you're not letting go of. So he's just like, lightning storm. Pff, there, I took care of it for you.
Yeah.
Move on.
You didn't have to make any decisions.
Right. Yeah. Stop being such a whiny dick about this and move forward with your life.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go back to being dead.
Yep. Was really a cool moment. We didn't talk about this. Where Luke, spoilers, big time.
I think we've killed it at this point.
That we're there.
But where Luke, comes back and he falls down and he's just completely wore out. And then the two sons,
Yeah.
and they did the music. He's like kind of sits down again and they do the music from Star Wars, his first scene in Star Wars. So it's, again, it is a...
From the sunset.
it's
That was cool.
It's a, what is that, palindrome kind of...
Sure. Parallel.
Bookend.
Bookend, yeah.
Yeah.
And he sees the suns and then...
The two suns, and then he floats away,
He's
and then
fine.
his fabric of his
Thing floats away.
Yep, he's found his piece. He's now part of the Force.
And it was super cool when you see the parallel after, like, you realize he's not there and what he looks like versus what he looks like in real
IRL,
life, where he's like all just haggard and super cool.
So Luke died, but not Leia. What the fuck?
I was kind of concerned that they're gonna be like, oh, and Leia died too.
Yeah, I don't know how they
We'll see.
They probably should have changed that around, maybe.
Yeah, we will see.
So are we going to do this podcast again after we watched it the second time?
I would like to at least. Maybe we don't have to do it the whole time. Well, we should also talk about this. We had 2 wines tonight. We had a Rioja Reserva from
You can tell I'm super
from
trash.
Rioja.
That's the producer.
How do you say it?
Licenciado.
And then what's our second one?
It
Which
got
was-
a 91 from Wine Enthusiast.
And I thought it was nice,
It was good.
full-bodied, red,
Very tannic.
very tannic.
But I enjoyed.
Yeah, good with the cheese.
And the second one was a Rebel, it is one of the coolest.
Rebel.
Yeah,
I love that label.
one of the coolest labels I think I've ever seen.
It's a little creepy though with all the fire and the fire going
I like a little
on.
creepy on my
But
label.
feel this, the sucker. Feel
it, touch it up, touch
the
it down.
papyrus.
Oh.
right?
Okay, so listeners, I'm just going to describe. So this label is kind of like embossed in 3D. You run your hands over it and you can feel all the little indentations of the illustration.
Which is
of
beautiful.
Buildings on fire from a giant flame in the sky. It's kind of
Apocalyptic.
It's
But
got
the
a
town on fire looks a little old.
Oh.
It's a gorgeous old Italian-looking village or European.
That's when the dinosaurs
Paso
died.
Robles, California.
Paso
well,
Robles.
Do you think Andy Dwyer did it?
I don't know that is.
I kind of
Parks and Rec
I
joke.
kind of want this bottle. I want the art.
So these are
Where'd
at
you get it?
Steve's for like $11.99. And
What is it? What's in it?
It's a blend.
They say we cannot command nature except by obeying her. Ooh.
Very apropos.
Po. Mopo.
Speaking of village being destroyed, I liked the bit where Rey just kept destroying the island.
Yeah.
I know, that was funny.
And you have the little like nuns on the
Cleaning
island.
it up.
Ray can do no wrong. Every scene with Ray, I was happy.
Yeah.
I just
She is mesmerizing.
She is. That's the
They
word.
really got a winner with her when they did casting.
She's spectacular.
Okay.
I actually think that Kylo Ren, he's obviously the bad guy, but he's good. Like he
Oh, Adam Driver is awesome.
Good actor.
Finn's good too.
Yeah.
I
I thought
think-
he did a lot better in this one.
dude,
Jason doesn't like Finn.
he's such a over actor and like just
Well, he gave them
completely-
a shitty storyline. That's the
I
problem.
mean, he definitely
That's
gets
my
shitty
point.
storylines.
And don't you think that, like, for a movie, again, geared towards, like, 10-year-olds are probably our target audience at this point, and then we're just trying to make the other people like it enough because they're...
It's a balancing act.
Right. But then, like, you need somebody like Finn to kind
Sure.
of grab the attention of these kids.
Yeah.
Because if I was a kid, I would resonate with his character because of the way that he acts.
Sure.
Of the energy.
Sure.
I
I
like
get it.
him, but they're like, hey, fall out of the bed, leak water, kiss that chick. It's just like his storyline sucks.
Yeah.
Do this unnecessary plot.
I liked him better in
The only reason I
Force
think it's-
Awakens than
I
this
did
one.
too.
I think it's like his acting is because I've seen trailers for his Pacific Rim. It's like the same stuff where it's just like way too much.
Oh, I don't.
Bring it down.
Oh, so it's not like the director.
I don't know for sure. I'm just saying.
Okay.
So 159 days until the Han Solo movie.
Oh my God.
I'm kind
Really?
of excited about that. So that's a summer release?
Yeah, it's in like May of
Next
20,
year?
Okay, well,
2018.
that's spring,
Yeah.
but cool.
It's May. Yeah.
159 days, 23 hours, 31 minutes, 46 seconds.
Scott
I'm
has a
excited
timer.
about that.
Okay.
I don't think that the hype was what affected our feeling about the movie.
Of this
This
Last Jedi?
one?
Yeah.
No.
I think that Force Awakens was just a really hard act to follow. And this
I
was kind
agree.
of like, let's stitch a whole bunch of pieces together to get to the next one.
Yep. Yep.
But
Teammate.
I hope that's not the case because we've lost Luke Skywalker at this point.
In his physical form.
Sure.
Yeah,
but
if
he's not
Yoda-
going to do a cool battle scene.
If Yoda can come
didn't
back
do one
and
this
do a
time.
pep talk, Luke
Luke
can.
will be back, absolutely.
Yeah.
As long as Mark doesn't pass away. Mark, wrap yourself in bubble wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, eat your veggies.
I mean, I think he'll be back,
Yeah, for sure.
but I don't know.
Yeah.
No
No,
one knows,
no.
babe.
Yeah.
No one knows.
All right.
Okay. That's been the Wine Wars podcast for this week. Please rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher. Send us an email at winewarspodcast@gmail.com. Go ahead and find us on Facebook, Twitter at Wine Wars Podcast. And until next time, please remember,
It's
It's
just Star Wars.
Star Wars.
yay!
1, 2, 3, 4. Wine Wars.